when you have those two things going for each other, it's a match made in heaven. So we'd like to keep this going. LeVar, are you starting to feel confident the Bucs will return Brady's Super Bowl winning roster?
I think they were going to try. And I think that it's not Tom Brady's Super Bowl winning roster. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl winning roster. They have a vested interest in making this work. And hey, listen, I look at it like this. It's sensible to look at how good they are personnel-wise. You know why, Chris Broussard? Because it is a win right now team. You want to look at the definition of what a win right now team is? It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So when you have certain guys that are going to go into the free agency market, that is always the destroyer of a Super Bowl winning team. You're not able to defend because they played so well. They take your coaches, they take your players. You're not able to return that nucleus of guys that was able to win that Super Bowl. I think they will not only look very hard at making sure they can keep Tom Brady for the next 3 years or so, but they will also look very hard at trying to figure out how to keep the core nucleus with guys like Chris Godwin, with guys like Shaq Barrett, and obviously you got to think Levante David to bring back. So I think this is an easy one here. It certainly is within the realm of sensibility for Bruce Arians and the upper management to think this has got to be a priority to try to figure this out to keep all these guys in-house.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Arians said it after they won the Super Bowl. We're going for another one. So they are trying to bring this team back, obviously, to talk about Brady with an extension. You're trying to keep this thing going and win a couple of Super Bowls, if not more. And look, I love what Chris Godwin is saying. I'm not going to leave a really good situation where maybe if they franchise him, he gets $16 million. On the open market, he can get $18 million, maybe $2 million more. I'm not going into a bad situation just to stay in Tampa Bay. I've got my Super Bowl. I like that mentality. However, every situation isn't a bad situation. So maybe a good situation will present itself and he does leave for a little bit more money or much more money. Here's the thing. As much as I like Chris Godwin isn't going to be the determining factor as to whether they win the Super Bowl or get to the Super Bowl next year. It's like you said, LeVar, they got to bring back Shaq Barrett, Levante David. Those are the priorities. On the offensive side of the football, yes, I want Chris Godwin back. But even if I don't get him back, I've got Mike Evans, arguably, one of the best receivers in the game. I've got Antonio Brown, who, if he plays well next year, guys, and has no problems, he could be in line for big money the year after. So he should be on his best behavior, and we know he's still got game. Obviously, Gronkowski isn't going anywhere. If he plays again, it'll be in Tampa Bay. You got Ronald Jones. I don't think Fournette's leaving. But if he does, I still got Ronald Jones. I got Scotty Miller. I got Tyler Johnson as a receiver. So that team is going to come back ready to win, make the Super Bowl again. They should be the favorites in the NFC. They're going to be better than next year. They're going to be more comfortable with each other. They're more confident. And Brady already sent them a message, because young guys who haven't won a lot can get complacent. We got this Super Bowl. Let's celebrate. Let's party. Let's enjoy it. And they have a hangover the following year. Brady with that Instagram post, a week and a half ago, where he was already out there working out for number 8, that's a sign to the rest of the players, hey, I got 7 of these. And I'm still working hard for another one. Yeah. So all the rest of y'all follow suit. So, yeah, I think Tampa Bay's coming back, and they're coming back strong.
Well, the good news, Chris, we have the number. They are favored, according to Vegas, to win the NFC and get back to the Super Bowl. Slight favorites the Tampa Bay Bucs are over Green Bay. I am curious, though, Godwin coming back is instrumental, okay? He's one of these versatile receivers, lined up 51% of the time in the slot and can go outside and win there. He is massive, Chris. But the Shaq Barrett situation bears watching, okay? There's some chatter out there that, hey, maybe he's replaceable with Von Miller, maybe Melvin Ingram, Ngakoue. There are options there, but Godwin coming back is massive because, of course, Brady, remember, Belichick kept cycling through Brady's guys in the slot. Well, we're just going to lose Wes Welker. We're going to get rid of Amendola. And Brady was never happy with that. The fact that Tampa's bending over backwards to make Tom Brady thrilled and now is saying, hey, man, we may just extend Brady 45, and maybe LeVar, maybe Tom Brady's playing for us at 47, 48. Like, they really want to keep this going. I don't know, man. I'm just shocked that Tom Brady can leave New England, 2 decades of dominance, go to Tampa, and basically start the cycle anew. I mean, there's got to be a lot of anger from Bill Belichick right now in New England. We're talking about, should he bring back Cam Newton? And Tom Brady's like, yeah, we'll bring back our Super Bowl roster. LeVar, they're favored to win the division. Drew Brees is expected to retire. They're favored to win the NFC. Like, Tom Brady's still on top of the world. This is madness.
As we continue to look at this and dissect it, Leonard Fournette was a very critical part of this team's success in the postseason. He made some very timely runs, some very timely plays for this team. But with that being said, you have depth and comfortable depth at that position. If Leonard Fournette wants to come back, it's going to have to be at a reasonable cost and a reasonable price. I don't necessarily disagree when you look at and say the other names at the receiver's position, but Chris Godwin, there is something to be said, as you mentioned about Dak Prescott in the last segment, Chris. There's something to be said about the continuity, the familiarity, the buy-in, and what they bring to the table. And Chris Godwin has been one of those guys from day one that has been an emerging leader and a constant presence to this team. I think the duo between Mike Evans and Chris Godwin is really what attracted Tom Brady to wanting to come to Tampa Bay in the first place. I looked at them bringing in AB. Tom Brady probably did. Bruce Arians didn't even want to bring him in. Byron Leftwich was okay with it, but we bring him in as a piece. We bring Gronkowski in as a piece. Those guys have to be signable. You know why? Because they are just serviceable players. As great as AB has been, as great as AB can be, as great as we will look at AB's career, he is a serviceable receiver for this Tampa Bay team. He has to be signable. Make room to be able to re-sign a guy like Chris Godwin. You don't want to lose the essence of what you created on that offense. And I'll say this, you're right about Shaq Barrett. You want to bring back Shaq Barrett, but the one guy out of, Ndamukong Suh, Shaq Barrett, Levante David is the guy you have to bring back. If you bring back your heartbeat of your defense, you can fill in some of those other spaces and those other places with other guys. But offensively speaking, that is the #1 priority to this team because of what they had to do with Tom Brady, and they will address that aggressively. And that's why I don't think that we can sit here and look at and underestimate the fact that they are actually going to try to keep all of those guys in pocket in Tampa.
I like Godwin, but I do think you guys are overstating it a little bit. I have no doubt that Antonio Brown can step in there and do that. We saw Tom Brady win Super Bowls with far less talent than Mike Evans, AB, and Scotty Miller as his receivers, not to mention Tyler Johnson, and the host of tight ends. I mean, really, again, I'm not throwing shade at Chris Godwin, but I saw him drop a few passes in the playoffs.
He was hurt.
I'm just saying.
I ain't throwing shade. I ain't saying I'm sure.
I saw him drop a few key passes. I saw him drop a few key passes, and all I'm saying is they will be fine without him. If he leaves, I want him back, but if he goes, they'll be fine. I mean, my goodness, how many tight ends and receivers do I need? And as far as Leonard Fournette, yes, Leonard Fournette was big in the playoffs. You know why he was so big? And he ran hard. I've been a Leonard Fournette fan since LSU. All right, so I love the guy, but he ran so well in the playoffs because Ronald Jones was out. If Ronald Jones had been healthy, he would have been running that hard and getting that yardage, if not more. During the regular season, Fournette averaged 28 yards a game. I mean, so my point is this, LeVar. He's not getting big money on the market.
No.
I mean, I don't know if he'll even get an offer elsewhere. So he'll be happy to come back to Tampa Bay. It won't be a ton of money, and he'll be in